Around 15 years ago, I separated my AC joint. This led to an incredible amount of shoulder pain and dysfunction. I was basically at the point where I couldn't even bench press the bar without feeling like a knife was going into my shoulder. This past weekend, I picked up some amazing tips and tricks about how to fix shoulders and prevent ongoing pain and debility. But I want to tell you a bit about my story and how I actually fix my shoulders with the help of a select few and got pain-free back to lifting at 100%. The first thing I focused on was regular prehab, not just rehab, but prehab exercises. Dowel rod movements before and after working out has been one of the best ways for me to fix and get rid of shoulder pain and prevent rotator cuff problems from developing. The second thing I did was get regular muscle work done to relieve trigger points and spasms that often occur due to ligament, tendon, or joint problems. I also cleaned up my laxity and ligament issues with prolotherapy. Those most at risk for AC joint problems are people that play contact sports, those following motor vehicle accidents because of the forces involved, and anyone that lifts weights. Those are the three main populations I see that damage and sprain their AC ligaments, and that's where prolotherapy is amazing at gluing the area back together, because as long as that joint's unstable, you're gonna have supraspinatus, bicep tendon, and overall muscle spasm issues that will not go away until you restabilize that joint. It's very easy to do, and once it's stable, you can then rehab the joint properly. I learned some cool things this weekend about shoulder impingement, which is an impingement of either the supraspinatus or the biceps tendon. If we look at the shoulder, it's a ball and socket joint, right? The humeral head fits into the glenoid of the scapula, or commonly known as the shoulder blade. And in order for you to raise your arm up and overhead, you need proper balance between the scapula and the humerus. What happens in impingement is either the humeral head slides upwards a little bit, or the scapula doesn't slide up to allow for proper range of motion. Either way, you're having a narrowing of the space where the tendons pass through, and it's already pretty tight. So when you make it even smaller, the chance of impingement and bursitis go way up. So we need to look at strengthening and rehabilitating the rotator cuff muscles so that humeral head can come down. You need to make sure that your levator scapula, your rhomboids, and your pec minor are lengthened so that your scapula can actually glide up and out when you go to raise your arm overhead. Because most people, when they get to this position, they engage in what's called a painful arc. And that is a pinching, uncomfortable sensation that stops them from going to the full 180. So you need to make sure that humeral head can rotate in that glenoid cavity, and you need to make sure that that scapula can slide up into upward rotation so that you can get the combined 180 degrees that you need. People walking around can't get their arms up overhead, so that really makes for real big problems at home or in their athletic event or for lifting weights overhead. You can't load a dysfunctional movement pattern, so that must be fixed. Most people should get to around 170, 180, and if you can't, we need to find out why. I learned some amazing things to strengthen and turn on the supraspinatus and biceps tendon. And I'm not talking about doing bicep curls to strengthen your biceps. This is actually one step deeper than that. It's resetting the neurology and how your nervous system is actually talking to your biceps tendon. So when it fires properly, pain goes down. You then need to look at strengthening your middle delt as well, because it aids the supraspinatus and rotator cuff muscles in this motion. And then you need to lengthen the muscles in your neck as well as your lat, because a short lat will prevent the arm from going overhead, and tight muscles in your neck pinch off nerves. And if you look at the nerves that innervate and control your shoulder, they come right through this region here. So you have tension here, tension in the lat. Can't move your arm up overhead because the biceps, supraspinatus, and middle delta are weak. Man, I could go on forever, but I learned some cool stuff this weekend. It's another tool in my toolkit. So we use prolotherapy to strengthen those weak ligaments, and then we can lengthen the muscles that need to be lengthened, and we can turn on the muscles that need to be turned on, and all of this accomplishes the elimination of pain, improved mobility, and better overall function. Questions? Shoot me a message. If you have impingement, if you have any shoulder issues going on, I'd love to chat with you about it because I can definitely help.